Welcome to Homebrewing TV. Today I'll be reviewing the Fermentasaurus, which gave birth to this fantastic raspberry wheat right here. Stay tuned. Before I get into this, I just want to give you all my sincerest thanks and appreciation for all the thoughts, prayers, comments you guys have left me regarding my mom's passing. It means the world to me. Cheers. Now on to this guy. The Fermentasaurus, straight out of the box, will come with your standard lid, airlock, and a bottle filler attachment that goes on the bottom. I would imagine that most people are going to be interested in this for the pressurization kit. It's a separate kit, but well worth the extra money. The pressure kit allows you to do a couple things. First off, when you pressurize your fermentation, it will reduce the fermentation time by about a day. I did 2 batches of the raspberry wheat, one in here, one in my normal fermentation fridge, and it was about 2 days difference. I went 5 days on this. In the fridge, I ended up having to do 7 days before the entire krausen dropped out of it. Speaking of the krausen, on this here, the 5-gallon mark is right there. While pressurizing it, I only got about an inch, and that was as high as it got because of the pressure. So technically, you could do, you could do almost an 8-gallon batch in this and not worry about blow off as long as it's pressurized. When you take the yeast ball off, because it's under pressure, it's going to bubble out. I don't honestly know how that affects the yeast. If you are going to ferment under pressure, you're going to have to get yourself a spunding valve. Now, a spunding valve, essentially what it does is that it holds a pressure inside the fermenter, and this relief valve on the end here, let's say you had it set at 12 psi. It will bring up to 12 psi, and once it exceeds that, this pressure relief valve will let the gas out so that it stays at a certain pressure. Otherwise, you basically end up with a great big bomb. And trust me, it will get up there quite rapidly. The very first day I had this on there, I didn't have all the parts for this, and by the time I put this on there, I was up almost 35 psi. So it will grow very, very rapidly. What you need if you're going to build one of these is a ball valve, quick connect, a pressure gauge, some sort of T, and then the pressure relief valve. I got all of these parts on Amazon, so I'll put some links in the description below that have those parts. I've seen them that you can buy them all as one piece too, so you might be cheaper to run that route. The other thing that fermenting under pressure is going to do for you is that your beer will be carbonated by the time you're ready to transfer over to your keg. I had an issue with it because I wasn't able to pull it through the pressure lid because it was sucking up the raspberries and it was clogging the lid up. So unfortunately, I had to use the original bottle filling attachment, which meant I had to depressurize everything, and that caused me to delay a couple days, because when you depressurize it, all of the junk and everything starts to raise to the surface because it's no longer being held down with that pressure. So after a couple more days of that, I just did the regular keg fill, which it went without a hitch. It works just like you would imagine it would. And that was fine. Beer turns out great. I mean, it's one of my better beers I've ever made. It's delicious. One of the things I want to caution you with is that if temperature is important to you, this temperature gauge that you have on the front, this little sticker that comes with it, I found it very, very difficult to read. Just in regular light, you can't tell what the temperature is on there. I had to turn the light on my camera and shine it right on it, right up close, to be able to see what the temperature was. Without that, it's almost impossible to read. I don't know if I got a bad one, or if that's just the way it is. If that's the way it is, I wouldn't rely on that for your temperatures. As far as the butterfly valve goes, I've seen some people say they've had some issues with stuff getting clogged in there. I did not have an issue with that, and I had a ton of raspberry debris and yeast and everything else. That just wasn't an issue for me. The butterfly valve in this thing worked perfectly as far as I'm concerned. Now as for the stand itself, it seems kind of rickety. It's just made out of some sort of, I would assume that's some sort of steel, maybe aluminum. When you get the Fermentasaurus in there, it is, I mean, it's a little bit wobbly, but I've never had any concerns about it breaking. It's a solid enough stand. The handles are nice to be able to lift and move it. I wouldn't have any worries with the stand. The stand's fine. One thing you do want to keep in mind, though, is if you plan on using this in a fermentation fridge, height is an issue. I've got a full-size fridge that I was going to put it in, and because of the height of the stand and the pressurization kit, it was too tall. I couldn't fit it in there. So you want to double check that first before you try to put it into a fermentation fridge. Just make sure it's got the right height. As far as cleaning goes for the Fermentasaurus, it's pretty easy. If you get small enough hands, you could probably get a hand down in there with a soft cloth or something to wipe it off. You don't want to put anything rough in there anyway because it's plastic. You don't want to scratch it. All I did was fill it up with PBW right up at the top, let it sit overnight, and everything had come off right away. All the beer stone had fallen off the sides. So overall, I got to give the Fermentasaurus a thumbs up. It's a wonderful fermenter. It does the job quicker if it's under pressure. It produces a fantastic beer. The only thing I'm going to do different, and I'll probably shoot another video on it, is just do a beer that doesn't have all the debris like I had in this one, just to see that transfer into a keg fully pressurized. I'm definitely looking forward to doing some more brews with this thing. I'm going to try to do, instead of a 5-gallon, maybe do a 7 or 8 gallon batch. That allows me to keg 5 gallons and have a little bit left over that I can bottle and hand out to friends and family. I'm definitely going to try it without doing something that has a ton of debris that's going to be floating at the top. I want to see that transfer happen. It would be really nice to be able to transfer something directly to a keg. It will allow me to keep the oxygen off it completely, and it will pretty much be carbonated fully by the time it's in the keg, so I could probably tap it right after that. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about the Fermentasaurus, please put those in the comments below. I'll get to those as quickly as possible. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up, share it with your friends. If you're here for the first time, welcome. Hit the subscribe button, and that bell icon allows you to get notified whenever I put out new content. So until next time, keep brewing, my friends.